Hi everybody, I'm Tara from Crooked Row, and today we're going to talk about dirty eggs. So it is a fact, when you own chickens, and chickens are poopy little creatures, and they don't mind to poop on their eggs, but they also will have feathers. I don't know if you can see that on their eggs. Woof. Sometimes it's just dirt. Sometimes an egg will crack and there will be, this really isn't even dirty. It's like, it's got yolk all over it. So there are times when, I don't want to crack that open and put it in a skillet because it's just gross. So what we do is we keep an extra bowl and we put our dirty eggs in there. And so I collect these, and then we utilize these for different storage processes. Like we're just going to wash these up. So you never want to actually wash eggs. They have something on the surface that is called, I think it's called the bloom, and it helps keep the egg preserved and fresh. If you scrub that off, it's not going to stay good as long. But if you're getting ready to use them, you can scrub the egg. Okay, so one thing that you're going to want to do is before you start washing your eggs, you're actually going to want to do a little trick to see which eggs are good eggs. Because a lot of times when you're collecting eggs, some of them are bad, but you might have kept them for a long time. So I have filled this with water, and what happens is let me turn the camera around so you can see actually. So before I'm going to wash these dirty eggs, you put them in water and you go to see which ones are good. Now, a good egg is going to lay on its side, like completely just lay boop on its side. A egg that is a little bit older is going to kind of tip to one side, and an egg that is bad is actually going to stand on end in the water. Now, as you can see, now sometimes if you get it a little too crowded, like I probably have right here, some of the eggs will stand on end just because they're crowded in the bowl and the other eggs are pushing it up. But if you put them in the eggs alone, or the eggs in alone, it's actually a better test. So what it looks like to me currently is that this egg here is not bad, but it is older because it's trying to tip up. This egg is trying to tip up. So maybe, and this one is too. And so this is a great test. This one, it looks pretty fresh. So these are still completely edible eggs. You can still eat all of these eggs. They're still good for eating, but it is a test that you want to do so that you don't go ahead and cook any bad eggs. Although if you open up a bad egg, trust me, you will know it. So I'm going to go ahead and run into my house, and the larger bowl that I had, I'm going to go ahead and test all of those and see if I'm gonna. I don't want to bother with cleaning off an egg that's going to be bad. So I'm going to go ahead and test them, and then I'm going to scrub them, and then we'll get to how we're going to preserve these. Okay, be right back. Okay, so I'm back. And I have washed the eggs, and they are now, I have a bowl full of clean eggs. But let me tell you, so the little test that I was saying before, where if the egg sits sideways, it's good. If it's tipped slightly, it's older, but it can still be used. And then if it stands like straight up, that sucker is bad. Let me tell you. There was a lot of gagging going on in that kitchen. So there were 10 eggs in this big bowl that were standing straight up. And so I went to pull one of them out and I accidentally broke it. Oh, I can't even tell you how gross that is. I can't even tell you how gross that is. So if people are wondering if this actually works, it works. So now let's move to the kitchen so that we can start doing different things with this. Actually, before we go to the kitchen, So now, since these have been washed, they need to be used right away. And so you can, of course, use it in any recipe or go ahead and make eggs or whatever you want. But I'm going to boil all of these eggs right now, and we'll put it in different concoctions. But one thing that I would like to do is go ahead and put a full canister of pickled eggs. So let's get busy in the kitchen. Okay, we are here in my kitchen, and I have placed the eggs in a pot and filled it with cold water. And now I am going to turn on the heat and turn this up pretty high and wait for this to come to a boil. Okay, so we have finished with boiling the eggs, and the perfect boiled egg is to take cold water, put it over your eggs, and bring it to a boil. And as soon as it comes to a boil, put a lid on it, pull it off the heat, put a timer on for 12 minutes. Perfect boiled egg. There's no like sulfury taste. And the egg yolk, especially when you're doing like deviled eggs, a lot of people will overboil their eggs, and so it gets that like greenish color around the yolk. That tastes gross. And so if you don't want that taste, then go ahead and do it like this. They turn out perfect every single time. So I'm gonna have, and if you're using fresh eggs, some people have luck with putting like a tablespoon of vinegar in the water. Some people put baking soda. I usually put baking soda in it. I did not this time. So we might have like, you know, chunks taken out of our eggs. We'll see. But I'm going to, while I'm preparing the liquid for the pickled beet eggs, I'm gonna go ahead and let the kids peel it. So let's get started with that. So I have boiled these beets down, and the juice left over, actually when I boiled them down, I put a little bit, like a couple spoonfuls of sugar and a couple tablespoons of vinegar in them. So this is the leftover juice from that. And this will be the start of our liquid. This is about 3 3/4 cups, almost 4 cups of beet juice. And then I will add to it a cup of brown sugar and, whoops, so sorry, 2 cups of granulated sugar. I will put in about a teaspoon of salt. I have a couple, maybe a tablespoon, a little more than a tablespoon of black peppercorns. I have cinnamon sticks, organic cinnamon sticks, and I'm going to put in a few bay leaves into this liquid. And then I would typically put apple cider vinegar in this, but I do not have any apple cider vinegar right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and use distilled vinegar. And for every cup of beet juice that you have, you want 3/4 of a cup of vinegar. So if I have, let's just say 4 cups of beet juice, then I'm going to put in, what is that? 3 cups of vinegar. 1, and this is just distilled white vinegar. 2, And then I'm going to stir this and bring it up to a boil. I want you to see this. Gorgeous. The lighting in here is so bad. Oh, I almost lost it. Isn't that beautiful, Lygie? Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it'll make it kind of cloudy, but we will see what it does. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this to a simmer, and we'll be back. So now this has come to a boil, and you just want to go ahead and let this simmer for 5 minutes. Look at that. That's beautiful. Okay, so we have our hot liquid. I actually sliced some beets and some onions that we're going to put in the jar. So I like to throw a couple in and then utilize our eggs. You just go ahead and pack these in the jar. I'm not exactly sure how many of these I will need, but I do want beautiful beets. The beets make this like the most beautiful ruby color you've ever seen. This liquid will actually go ahead and pickle your onions too, and you can fish the beets and the onions out of these jars. It's so cool. So gives it an excellent flavor. Oh, if you could smell my house right now, it smells of cinnamon and cloves, and there's just this beautiful, like, spicy, earthy flavor all through the house. It's so great. Okay, so put a couple more on top. There we go. And I'll fit one more in there. And then you take your hot liquid, just pour it right over top. Now, some of the cinnamon sticks and all of that will go to the bottom, and when I am finished with each jar, I will actually take cinnamon sticks and stuff and kind of poke them in. If anything, it just looks really pretty. These will go, you want to use an airtight lid, which this is airtight, and you can go ahead and put these in your refrigerator. There's some people who say they only last 6 weeks. I have watched people use them after 8 months and they are completely okay. But you definitely do. Some people say you need to wait about 24 hours. Some people say 36 before you start eating on them. We actually like to wait a week or so. But these are so pretty, and the actual egg, I'm actually going to put a little more liquid in. The actual egg will turn just this bright ruby red color. It is so gorgeous. And you can take those and cut those up in salads. And then the look of your salad just radically changes. They're gorgeous. So go ahead and try and make these. There are other pickled recipes. This is pickled beet eggs, which I have heard is a bar time snack too. I guess it goes really good with beer, but I have never seen that. So, but these are a really great way to use your eggs. Especially your dirty eggs, since you have to wash those eggs. I mean, you can make deviled eggs, you can make any kind of egg you want. Dirty eggs are just that. They're dirty and they have to be washed, so you can't store them the same as you would just a normal clean egg. So this is just one more way. We'll have other, we just saved about 2 or 3 dozen eggs. So I hear a lot of people online, and they'll tell people to throw their eggs away if they're too dirty. And with eggs as expensive as they are right now, I wouldn't throw one single egg away as long as they're good. And that method that I had showed you before, again, if your egg sits with, you know, side by side, that is a good egg. If it starts to tip in the water, so it's submerged in water, it starts to tip, then it's an older egg, but it's still good and can be used. When it stands straight up, that means your egg is bad. And so That method works so well. I highly recommend it. So anyway, so remember, if we can pickle eggs, anybody can. Thanks. Bye.